He's faced questions about his job security. That happens when you lose 7 in a row before these back-to-back wins. And Jamie Dixon on the other side in year 9 as well at TCU. Off we go from Fort Worth. Jace Posey, 41 in white, making his first career start for TCU. The redshirt freshman from Houston had a big month of February, a nice step forward for him in earning the start today. Noah Reynolds is TCU's leading scorer. He was held to a season-low tying 2 points in the loss to West Virginia Tuesday. Dwindling shot clock, and Bashan Arlett banks it in.
Really nice job of TCU being patient, working the shot clock, and then Arlett with a nice finish around the rim.
And BJ, for UCF in their starting 5, Tyler Hendricks made his first career start the other night against K-State. He's back in the starting lineup here today.
The guy's going to provide a little bit of offensive rebounding, kind of a do-it-all guy out there for the Knights.
UCF leaning on the youth. Mikey Williams, the redshirt freshman, making another start. Paul is denied by Ernest Uday. TCU on the move. Arlett wanted a foul, no whistle. And UCF throws it away. Darius Johnson was trying to find his teammate. Yeah, you see Dixon on the other side. He is ignoring Joe Lunardi's latest bracket projections that don't have the Frogs under at-large consideration. He told the team at practice yesterday, BJ, we're still on the bubble. We still have a lot to play for.
We got to put belief into your team, right? Pump that belief into your guys. TCU is a team. And if they can finish out strong and then go into the Big 12 tournament, maybe make some noise, there's a chance. Nice shot right there.
Freshman David Punch knocks down the 3. Just his 8th made 3 of the season.
That's what you need right there for TCU, right? You get these open looks from deep. Got to take advantage of them.
And Hendricks misses for UCF. Boy, much better start for TCU compared to their last 2 games. The losses on the road to Cincinnati and West Virginia. Uday lays it in, and the Frogs are up 7-0.
Right now, offensively, TCU coming now with a little bit of punch. Nice job of coming off that ball screen. Find that nice little pocket pass action.
Nice look by Johnson to the freshman Mustafa Chum, and UCF's on the board.
Mustafa Chum's a reclassified freshman, should still be in high school, but has been playing some of the best ball of any front court player in the Big 12.
Look out! Arlett can soar! Bashan Arlett getting up at 6'2".
But what do they say, Ted? You break a press to score. You don't break a press just so you can set up your offense. That time TCU takes advantage of a hole in the Knights' defense.
And Chum is usually lurking at the rim for UCF. He's the leading shot blocker in the Big 12. Nowhere to be found there. Johnson, a good 3-point shooter. Misses, and it's out to TCU.
So right here, just a good kick ahead, and then no one's home. Keyshawn Hall got caught with his back turn. Bashan Arlett goes up high. That's what you need. Again, if you're a TCU team, you struggle to score at times. You go through these slumps. When you get easy opportunities, you have to take advantage of them, and that's what they've done here early on. 3 easy baskets at the rim.
TCU with back-to-back double-digit losses in quad 1 games on the road against Cincinnati and West Virginia. And a turnover by Arlett.
Little indecision right there from Bashan Arlett. Got in the painted area. Wasn't sure if he wanted to go up to shoot or make a pass.
Now for Dixon's team, a very different start from the last 2. Very different from the first meeting against UCF when the Knights were up 13-0 before TCU could really get going.
Yeah, and that puts a lot of pressure on a team like VCU, right? When you don't have 3 or 4 double-figure scores, right? You're not a good 3-point shooting team. You can't come back from those deficits to stay.
Chum inside for another bucket for the Knights.
Good court awareness, nice court vision from Darius Johnson to see the floor. When in doubt, always look for your big fella at the rim.
Arlett got cut off. Open look this time for Arlett. And he buries it. That's a 3. Just a 22% 3-point shooter on the season. Who knew?
They get TCU off to one of their best offensive starts of the season. You mentioned it. Bashan Arlett, not known as a 3-point shooter, gets one to go.
Out of bounds, and we hit our first official timeout. Boy, a much-needed good start at home for TCU.
Well, who said TCU couldn't score? Because they are off to a hot start at home.
Feel more comfortable here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in their last home win against Texas Tech, they played some of their best basketball this season, right? We know Texas Tech is the top 15 in college basketball, and they were able to control that game. With 17 points off turnovers, 17 second chance points, shot the ball okay from the outside, so Mustafa Chum gets fouled hard.
By David Punch, and Chum wincing, still down.
Now against TCU, will be number 15, David Punch. That'll be his first personal foul. First team foul.
See right here, it's a nice dump down from Johnson. And as Diallo flies by, you're gonna see the play made at the rim by Punch up top. Chum just lands right on his hip there. It's a tough fall.
Boy, Mustafa Chum has been playing like one of the best freshman bigs in the country.
100%.
Forget just the Big 12. The numbers he's put together, and to your point, BJ, before the timeout, that he should be thinking about prom right now.
Yeah, he should.
Not college basketball. He reclassified, and hopefully he's all right here.
Yeah, I mean, Mustafa Chum is the most important player for the Knights, right? We know Keyshawn Hall is their best player. We know Darius Johnson is their leader in the backcourt, but they don't have any depth behind him at the center position. This is a guy that's been tasked with playing about 30 minutes per game over the last 5 games in conference play, so they cannot go without Mustafa Chum for extended periods of time.
He is a good free throw shooter on the year, 71%. He's coming off his first career double-double, and Johnny Dawkins said that he challenged Chum the night before. Hey, why don't you ever get any double-doubles?
Yeah.
And sure enough, Chum almost had a triple-double the next day.
He was absolutely incredible against Kansas State. 8 blocked shots. He has terrific timing. He knows where to be on the floor. And his rebounding is continuing to improve.
Missed both free throws, so still 12-4 TCU.
Got to put some of that on the hip, though, Ted. All right, when that hip's hurt, he's not focused as much on the free throws as he usually is.
Reynolds the scoop, and Chom collects the rebound. But a turnover. He was trying to find Debo Coleman in the open floor.
And a bit of a seesaw in terms of the game at UCF earlier in this season, where UCF jumped out, ended up going on to an 85-58 victory. Today, TCU has come out taking control of this game. It seems like UCF is just a bit out of sorts.
Now, TCU remembers that game 5 weeks ago to the day. UCF led wire to wire. Reynolds for 3, got it.
That's the guy they got to get going right. Noah Reynolds only 1 shot attempt in his last game. On that last possession, shook up, had a nice shot from deep, and pulled it with confidence, Ted, right? Sometimes you see guys hesitate. Noah Reynolds does not need to play passive. He needs to play aggressive.
Well, Reynolds is glad to be rid of the Sincere Harris straitjacket that he was in Tuesday night in Morgantown. Looking for Diallo, kick ball, and the shot clock will reset at 20.
Jamie Dixon does a great job of these ball screen actions where they put defenders in a compromising position. This time it was Jordan Ivy Curry. He has to help on the Malik Diallo roll. That opens up the Noah Reynolds 3. And they've gotten shot attempts like that throughout the season, Ted. It's just sometimes we've seen them miss those open looks.
It's the worst scoring offense in the Big 12. Wenzel, no chance.
Coach can only draw up looks to get you open. He can't make it for you.
Coleman, too strong. Hall tracks it down. Hall steps into it. Oh, missed everything. Keyshawn Hall has been an outstanding 3-point shooter in Big 12 play. Out to TCU.
Well, right now everything is contested. TCU is dictating the game. It's being played at their pace, the way they want it to. Right there, Keyshawn Hall, a shot we know he can make, but a really nice contest from Brendan Wenzel.
TCU has scored 6 in a row, 6 of 9 from the floor. UCF has started 2 of 10. Asarian White, UNC Wilmington transfer. Missed the floater. Micah Robinson, the freshman, got blocked by Chom.
And that's the presence of Chum at the rim, right? You get those offensive rebounds. Got to do a ball fake or two, trying to get the big fella up in the air.
Otherwise, Chom's going to eat your lunch.
No question.
Averages almost 3 blocks a game. The lob, and Chom with the stop.
What a pass from Darius Johnson. That was a 40-foot lob. He threw that from about parallel with the U.
BJ, they've connected for all 3 of UCF's buckets, Johnson and Chom.
You know, Johnson and Johnson. Today it's Johnson and Chom.
Robinson over Chom, didn't drop.
Thought he had Malik Diallo on the roll right there. Just leave it up for the big fella. Great verticality from Diallo at the rim. So many times we see guys come down with those arms. That was textbook defense from the big fella.
Against Benny Williams, Wenzel misses the 3. And last touch by UCF.
Look at where Darius Johnson has to throw this lob from. The defense is so extended for TCU. There's an opportunity at the rim, and the Johnson-Chom connection continues to be fruitful for the Knights.
The 3-year starter, Darius Johnson, to the freshman, Chom. Johnson is that stabilizing force for UCF.
Absolutely, the head of the snake, the captain of the ship. He's the guy that when times get tough, they lean on him to control the tempo.
Reynolds, no. Uday, the offensive board. Trey White steps into it. And pulled in by UCF.
If TCU don't want to get trigger happy from deep, you know, they're a group who wants to take good threes. They don't want to take a high volume of threes.
Now, TCU is the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. Again, at the bottom of just about every offensive category.
And with that, nobody shoots fewer than them, right, Ted? So it's not just that their percentage is low. They know their bread is buttered in the paint.
And right on cue, Micah Robinson in the paint.
And there you go. Don't settle for those looks from the outside. This Knights defense will spread out and give you opportunities to drive. I'm sure Jamie Dixon has implored his group, guys, we need to dominate the paint today.
Hall draws a foul from Brendan Wenzel. That leads to the official timeout. So TCU still up double digits, but both teams have gone cold.
First game of the season knocked off a top 10 team in Texas A&M, knocked off Texas Tech in their first conference game, and it was looking like a tournament team. The defensive end of the floor is where the letdown came in, right? The Knights have been the worst defensive team as Mikey Williams, the nice little floater right there for the freshman. The defensive end of the floor has been the difference for them when they have lost games. That 7-game losing streak, they gave up 90 points per game, right? And even today, already 17 points. The TCU Horned Frogs. What a lob.
Alette to Uday for the slam. And yeah, they had those signature wins before that 7-game skid. Again, they've won back-to-back games to climb back to 6-11 now, but man, they have to win the Big 12 tournament if they're going to play in the NCAA tournament at this point.
Yeah, well, without question. This is also a team, had Houston at home in a good game, did not win. Lost 2 games to Iowa State, right? Did not beat Baylor, did not beat Kansas in either matchup. Great finish on Posey at the club, but that's been the difference, Ted.
Posey making his first career start here today, and he's heading to the line for one more.
First, let's take a look at the lob. Go up top to the big fella. No tag help, no roll help. It's a good pass from Vashawn Alette, and there's dunks and then there's slams. That was a slam right there. And then Jace Posey, a guy who's been playing so well as of late. 9 points off the bench earlier this week at West Virginia. Jace Posey is why he got to start today. The freshman starting to find some confidence here late in the season.
As the free throw, TCU able to gather. Hustle play by Alette. And Posey, the son of James Posey, the 12-year NBA veteran, 2-time champion. Alette against Mikey Williams, the step back. Robinson, the putback. And a timeout. TCU up 23-8 as they try to bounce back from back-to-back losses.
Dominate the paint was the key to the game for the TCU Horned Frogs, and they have done that so far. Whether off the dribble drive or getting on the offensive glass. The Horned Frogs are having success down there in that purple area. You see right here, Micah Robinson just moves Jordan Ivy-Curry out of the way, goes and gets the O board. And this is exactly what you want if you're TCU, because their defense can hold up, all right? They are a defensive team that when they get a lead, they can hold up. Offensively right now, if you're UCF, gotta find some continuity, gotta get Keyshawn Hall more activated and going in this ball game. But as we mentioned when they went on that 7-game slide, it was the defensive end of the floor that was their weakness, and it's rearing its ugly head. It's rearing its ugly head again here today this afternoon.
Yeah, Hall, the Big 12's leading scorer, 19 per game. Scoreless so far on 0 of 4 from the field. They get him a touch here.
Great activity right now from the Horned Frogs. They're flying around.
Hendricks the kick. Williams pulls the trigger and drills the 3. Boy, UCF needed that.
Yeah, great offense right there from the Knights. Very patient. Didn't get rushed. Got the ball from a second side to a third side. And got an open shot for their freshman.
First made 3 of the game for the Knights. Robinson cut off. Robinson, Punch, and Posey, 3 freshmen on the floor for TCU. And Ouellette with the creative finish.
Now, that's not easy to do around Mustafa Chum, all right? That's one of the best shot blockers in the Big 12. Sean Ouellette made it look easy.
Williams got another 3, back-to-back from Mikey Williams.
This is a young fella that's playing with a lot of confidence as of late. Didn't get very much time in the first half of conference play, but 4 starts in the month of February. Mikey Williams starting to play like the player the Knights wanted him to be when he came into the program.
Punch, got around Hall, blocked. And Williams comes away with it. Johnson wants a 3. Give it to him. And a timeout for TCU as UCF cuts it to 8.
This is when UCF is at their best. When they are getting up and down, they're making a free-flowing game, right? TCU wants a half-court game. UCF wants an up-and-down game. This favors UCF when they play like this. Right here, you see great activity from TCU. They're flying around, their movement, hands active. But right here, watch Tyler Hendricks draw 2. Great reverse pivot to find Mikey Williams for the triple. There's nothing David Punch can do. And then right here, there's so much attention on the roll for Mustafa Chum. It puts that roll defender in a compromising position. Then right here, Darius Johnson just riding the wave, baby, getting on that surfboard and feeling good. Right now, UCF, that's the game they want to play. So we've seen both styles already in this one. We've seen TCU when they are successful. It's a half-court game. It's a grinded-out physical battle. UCF is at their best when it's more free-flowing, it's open. We're playing almost like pickup-style basketball. The question is, which team is going to be able to impose their style of play on this game more than the other?
You know, Mikey Williams had 2 of those 3s. Such a sensation, BJ, on and off the court throughout high school, really going back to when he was in middle school.
No question.
Was a top 50 player in the country in the ESPN 100. He's got more than 3 million followers on Instagram. Reynolds can't answer with a 3. He's able to track down his own miss, and he hits it that time.
I like it. I like the aggression. We mentioned it. We talked about it off air. Last game, only 1 shot attempt. Can't be the leading scorer on a team and expect to win when you get 1 shot up. Noah Reynolds misses the first one, gets a second look, knocks it down. Good ball.
Nice defense by Punch on Keyshawn Hall. Uday goes reverse side. Boy, it's looking easy offensively for TCU, and that has not been the case for most of the Big 12 season.
Coming up with the phrase, Ted. PPP, purple paint prowess, all right? TCU needs to have purple paint prowess all game long.
See if that catches on.
Triple P, you don't like it?
I like it. I like it a lot. I want to see a sign.
Here we go.
Here at Schulmeyer Arena with that. Pass deflected. Stolen by Keyshawn Hall. Still looking for his first points, and Noah Reynolds rips it away. White with the floater.
love TCU just not overthinking the offensive end, right? I mean, we're seeing a decisive team, a confident group. They don't always play like that throughout this season. They're doing it today.
Chom at 7-2. Yes, he can hit that shot. 31% on the year. Didn't make it there.
Had David punch in the corner. Didn't see him.
Allett thought about it from there. Guarded by Dior Johnson. 4 to shoot. And Uday with the tip in.
Just no one on the backside right there for the Knights. Mustafa Chom gets out of position. Good job of Uday being ready to make a play.
And a 3 ball goes down for Dior Johnson. The redshirt sophomore from Kingston, New York, who is back in Texas, played 1 year of junior college at Clarendon College, about 300 miles to the west of here. Reynolds, right down the chute, another 3 for Reynolds.
Shooting with much more confidence here this afternoon is Noah Reynolds. Could have had an and one on that last play, honestly.
Allett with 2 more for TCU. Allett, the first player in double figures with 11.
That's a tough one for the big fella right there. He's a guy pick and pop, get his feet set, get everything composed, under control. That's when he shoots his best. That one last one was a little bit rushed.
And when you're down 19, now you're starting to rush just a little bit. Punch with 2 more. A 21-point lead for TCU in the first half. And another timeout for Johnny Dawkins.
TCU with one of its best offensive halves of the season. You see right here, nice dump off. How do you beat a shot blocker? Little ball fake, get him up in the air, go up on the other side, and then right here, Trey White feeling good. It's off to a hot start, man. Getting downhill at the rim, making plays. This is what you need from your backcourt guards in March. I know it's only March 1st, but Vashawn Allett is in prime form, already 11 points in this game. And then sometimes defense makes it a little too easy for you. There's Johnson with a bad reach. Vashawn Allett has set the tone for the Horned Frogs this afternoon. It's a big reason why this Horned Frog group is having one of their best offensive outings of the season.
Man, just to see 41 points at this point of the first half. Team that averages about 60 a game as Diallo rejects Dior Johnson.
55 at West Virginia on Tuesday night, right? I mean, they might get 55 here in the half, which will be a very, very pleasant sight for this TCU crowd. We had a lot of options of where they could have been today, but they're here with us. Right?
It is a beautiful day in Fort Worth. Nice pocket pass, and Diallo with the layup off the feed from Allett. Yeah, boy, when TCU has the ball, it's the movable force against the resistible force against the movable object. Worst offense, worst defense.
100%.
Right now, TCU is getting exactly what it wants whenever it wants. Johnson.
Yo, when you get a matchup like this, something's got to give, right? So if you're a TCU team who struggles to score, well, UCF struggles to stop people. So then maybe this is the game that's sort of your elixir because you can get easier shots. Then you're going to get against some of the tougher, more stout defenses in the Big 12.
Oh, Ivy Curry swallowed up by Diallo. Just wondering why wasn't that a foul, but TCU ball.
Again, you're going to see another basket just around that painted area. Good little DHO action between Diallo and Allett. TCU does a nice job in their ball screen actions. You know, the reason they actually aren't even better is because they don't always shoot the ball well, right? If you don't shoot the ball well, you don't have to spread out and worry about shooters. But for Vashawn Allett, Noah Reynolds, a lot of these guys do a nice job of finding their rolling bigs like Diallo.
And BJ, they've grown in that area. Frankie Collins,
Yep.
who was brought in to run the point, was lost for the season.
Yep.
A foot injury in early December, and Alette has really taken control of that position.
Yep.
He's got 11 points and 5 assists today.
Which is not easy to do in this league, right? I mean, you're going against some of the best guards in college basketball. When you think of, you know, Taman Lipsey, Keyshawn Gilbert, Curtis Jones at Iowa State, Caleb Love at Arizona, right? Igor Deman at BYU. This is a tough league to come in and sort of be that backup point guard and now be the starter.
Tyler Hendricks working down low for UCF. The younger brother of Taylor, the former 9th overall pick, first lottery pick to come out of UCF, now with the Utah Jazz.
Taylor Hendricks, a tremendous player at UCF, great guy. You ever talk to him? Just very humble, down-to-earth person. Somebody to root for. Had a season-ending injury this year with the Jazz. Everybody's hoping he gets healthy.
Ball misses. Coleman the follow, and a foul is called. And Keyshawn Hall is still scoreless. 3:05 mark of the first half.
On boards, maybe a billboard downtown Fort Worth.
Why not?
I would love to see it. I just want my cut, right?
Put it over by the stockyards.
Uh-huh.
And PPP, you're not talking about the program that helps small businesses during the pandemic.
No. We've moved
talking
forward.
about, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Purple paint prowess. All right, I can get on board. I like it. Why don't you ask Jamie Dixon about it? He's right over here in front of us.
He looks pretty busy.
Jamie, what about PPP?
Yeah, he seems pretty busy at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. He might say a few words to me we can't say on the air.
20-point lead, under 3 to play in the first half. Reynolds has 9 on 3 threes. Alette, the leading scorer in the game, with 11. Punch, stripped, got it back. 4 to shoot. Reynolds the step back. And Alette with an offensive rebound.
Another old board, the 8th old board of the day for TCU. Just out physicaling the Knights at the rim.
TCU is plus 10 on the glass.
Yeah. They're more physical, and more than anything, they want the ball more right now, and one.
And White gets it to drop. A 3-point play opportunity, and all smiles for Trey Z.
Second chance opportunities is what creates plays like this right here. Little kick over, take the bump, take the body, focus and finish. It's a great play right there from Trey White. And what else can you do after a first half like this other than smile, right? It's got to feel good for this group, Ted. I mean, this is, again, when you play on teams, and I've been on teams that struggle to score, we went through these slumps, man, it can just make basketball so much more difficult because you have to play defense extremely hard. You know you don't score many points. Today, TCU is able to have a little fun.
3-ball dropped in by Niels Mahovsky, the sophomore from Berlin, Germany. Mahovsky played only 1 minute in Wednesday's win over Kansas State.
Capable shooter off the bench. A guy that comes in to stretch the floor.
Well, UCF is looking for any and all answers at this point.
Trey White's got to attack that matchup.
Over Mahovsky. Uday, offensive rebound yet again for the Frogs. Reynolds all alone. Here's J.J. Taylor, the sophomore from Chicago and high school teammate of Mikey Williams a couple of years ago. Williams almost turned it over. UCF retaining it. Taylor guarded by Punch, under 10 to shoot. Johnson around Reynolds. Oh, Johnson, after Uday thought he had secured it, able to put it in.
It's a bit of fortune right there for UCF.
And TCU turns it over. Final minute of the first half. Mahovsky got past Reynolds for the deuce.
Once again, you get a stop on one end that allows you to push and play fast in transition.
And that's what UCF wants to do, right?
Exactly.
BJ, fastest tempo in the Big 12, but they haven't been able to do it when they're taking it out of their own basket.
There you go. There's nothing left for me to analyze. Ted, you hit it on the head.
I'll let you do your thing. Uday doing his thing inside. Counting the foul.
I mean, how many old boards can one group get? I mean, goodness. See right here, Mustafa Cham's gonna come over to make a play on that basketball. Nobody wipes Uday off the glass. That's J.J. Taylor, who's got to rotate down. It's what we call a crackback. You got to crack back down and take Uday off the rim. It's called help the helper. Your teammate goes to help a teammate. You got to help that person. Help the helper. Just like we do, right?
That's right. I always help you.
You help me, all right? And then I help Stas, our producer. All right, it's a triangle of help.
Now for TCU, their highest scoring half in conference play as Uday hits the free throw. Just shy of 50 points. Again, TCU averages under 68 per game. Lowest scoring offense in the league. Shot clock dark for UCF. And Johnson's fouled by Jace Posey with 5.8 remaining.
Fouling at TCU, number 41, Jason Posey. That'll be his first personal foul, 14th foul.
Best thing about that is, though, neither of these teams close to the bonus, so really not a bad foul right there. If you're Jace Posey, you can be pretty physical on this next possession as well. You're not going to the free throw line with a foul.
2 more to give for TCU. Posey tried to strip Johnson, and Uday grabs another rebound as the buzzer sounds. Just about a perfect first half for TCU, coming off back-to-back losses, and Vashon Aulette led the way, 11 points and 7 assists.
Absolutely. For a team that needed to find a way to put up points, Vashon Aulette has been the catalyst for this offense.
Aulette with 11, Uday with 11, and it's TCU by 19 at the break here at Fort Worth. You see the numbers for each team overall as TCU with its highest scoring half of Big 12 play, 49 points. They shoot 51%. How do you get Keyshawn Hall a little more involved?
Well, I would imagine they're going to run some sort of set to get him a look here early on, but he's a guy that does such a good job of getting to the free throw line, so they go to the mid-post to him. Good double right away. Got to get to the free throw line. He sees a couple go through. Now he feels better. Saw that TCU double team immediately. That's how you defend a good scorer like him. Get the ball out of his hands.
Now the lob, and Hall creates for Mustafa Cham.
And there you go. If you're going to draw that much attention as an offensive player, sometimes you have to be a facilitator, right? Once you facilitate, drop a few dimes, get a couple assists, maybe the defense is a little more reluctant to show so much help your way.
TCU had 28 points in the paint in the first half. Aulette over Cham. Boy, Cham affects just about everything near the rim.
And now one thing to watch for is if you're TCU, this Knights team can score. They were one of the leaders in the Big 12 in scoring. So they can put up points in a hurry. Got to make sure they stay engaged defensively.
Yeah, BJ, top 5 in the league, and they play the fastest of any team in the Big 12, according to Ken Pom.
Absolutely.
The deficit, yes, it's big, but they can make it up if they start to hit some shots. They need some stops first. That 100%. Won't help against David Punch.
100%. You don't get stops. Nothing that you do on the offensive end matter. Nice job by David Punch of being patient. And again, another paint bucket for the Horned Frogs.
Mikey Williams fires and connects his third 3. Williams has 11.
Great relocation right there from Williams. It's the most confident he's played all season long, right? As a freshman, sometimes college basketball can be a serious adjustment. It was for him early on. He's starting to find his rhythm offensively.
Now Posey for 3.
Nobody at the rim.
Hall against the freshman Punch. Left it short. So Hall has started 0 for 7. Williams. Hall the offensive rebound. But a turnover.
Yeah. Again, looking to facilitate right there. Great job of active hands, active defense. TCU. They do a great job with their traps. They're vertical, they body you up, they're physical.
Alette was kind of caught in the middle there. There was nobody to lob to, and I don't know that really counts as a shot, but sure enough, here's UCF, Hall, and his pass is stolen again.
That might have been the first mistake, though, Rashawn Alette has made all game long. 11 points and 7 assists there in that first half. He's been on it.
And Uday's fouled underneath with Chom and Williams there defensively. Goes against Williams.
We talked about Mikey Williams finding some confidence on this end of the floor, right? A little drive, nice feed right down there to Mustafa Chum. Gonna give so much attention to Hall, that'll be there. And then again, Mikey Williams getting his feet set, going straight up and down, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of belief in himself right now. Again, this is a guy who hasn't played a lot of basketball over the past couple of years for a variety of reasons. But you're starting to see him now feel belief in his game, find his rhythm. Confidence and knowing where you're going to be effective is so important for a player. He didn't have that early on. He's finding it now.
He can be a foundation piece for the future of UCF. You just don't know at today's age in college basketball, but the future is bright as Williams has taken advantage of his second chance following his arrest 2 years ago. Punch, head of steam, and the layup goes against Chom.
Get downhill and dance. That's it. Getting downhill and dancing at the cup, Ted.
And Keyshawn Hall getting downhill and drawing a foul. So Hall heads to the line for the first time today. One of the most prolific free throw shooters in the country. In fact, he leads the Big 12 in both free throw makes and attempts.
Doesn't shy away from physicality when attacking the cup. Does a good job of ball fakes in that area, but this is one of the best defensive jobs that has been done to Keyshawn Hall all season long. And we mentioned he's been a double-figure scorer in every game in conference play except for one, and that was against the Houston Cougars, who are top 5 defense in college basketball year in and year out.
And he was held at 2 points in the first half of that game, a game that UCF almost won. Yep. He ended up with only 6. Like you said, his only single-digit performance of Big 12 play. And finally, Hall now on the board with those 2 points at the line.
It doesn't take much to get scorers going. You see a couple free throws go through that hoop. Sometimes it can change your whole game.
Posey on the move. And Posey is fouled. That's against Hall.
TCU just a step ahead. Offensively, they are a step ahead. It's as if the Knights are chasing every bit of action. You can see right here, look at this downhill when he catches the ball, and then immediately he's in the paint, right? There's nothing you can do about that once a guy has that much steam and momentum going to the cup. The Knights got to do a better job of staying between the ball and the basket. It's a fundamental key to the game that you're taught as a kid, right? Stay between the ball and the basket. The Knights are not doing a good job of that right now.
And it is remarkable, BJ, to see the difference between what UCF was last year as one of the best defensive teams in the Big 12 to the absolute worst
100%.
This year. And yes, it's different personnel, but it's still striking.
It is. You know, because that's been the calling card of, you know, the Johnny Dawkins programs, you know, going back to, you know, his days when he had Taco Fall underneath the rim, right? They had those guys at Taco Fall. He had good defensive teams, top defensive teams in the country last year. Ibrahima, Omar Payne, Shamari Allen out there on the perimeter. Those guys were terrific defenders, as well as a Jalen Sellers, who, you know, has been very limited this season. Another good perimeter defender. You're right, it has been shocking to see how poorly they've been defensively.
Mahovsky converts after the steal. And boy, that's what Johnny Dawkins brought up last night at their shoot-around, BJ, that Sellers, yeah, you can focus on what he does as a scorer. He was top 5 in the league a year ago, but they really missed that big frame on the perimeter to guard the ball. And like you said, Sellers playing only 3 games all season with a variety of injuries.
Exactly. He's, if not the best perimeter defender for the Knights, he would have been this season. They've missed him offensively, but they've missed him defensively just as much.
Punch right in the middle. 2 more for the freshman.
David punch. Punch in the paint.
I'm down with OPP.
There we go. Hey.
That three ball goes down for UCF. It's Jordan Ivy Curry, the UTSA transfer.
You see TCU's just playing around that painted area. They're driving there. They're doing handoffs in the painted area. Right there. UCF's got to close up some of those gaps, make it a little tighter.
A little extra contact after the foul. Johnson is fouled on the move, and a timeout in Fort Worth. TCU's lead is 15. And the leader in steals in the Big 12, and Mustafa Cham and Darius Johnson, but Johnny Dawkins' team just hasn't been able to stop anyone all year.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest piece of their success, as Keyshawn Hall's going to get called for a shuffle of the feet, a little bit of a travel, but absolutely. The defensive end of the floor, they don't communicate at a high level. They don't talk individually. They don't take pride in their own individual matchup defensively. And sometimes in certain sequences of the game, they're just not highly engaged on that end of the floor. And as we discussed, that's always been a staple of a successful Johnny Dawkins program, is things beginning on the defensive end. I
mean, TCU is just living in the paint. They cough it up. Last touch by UCF.
Pass to pass, teammate to teammate in the paint. We've seen that a couple times here this afternoon, right? And that doesn't happen against good defensive teams. You're not going to see that against Houston. You're not going to see that against TJ Otzelberger's Iowa State, right? It's not going to happen against those groups. They make the paint somewhere that you have got to work to get to. You have got to be disciplined to get to the paint against those teams.
Micah Robinson in the paint for the bucket. I mean, yeah, against those teams that you mentioned, I mean, you are getting an elbow, you are getting shoved, and maybe a foul is called, maybe not. Foul's called here as Keyshawn Hall went up.
It's not easily accessible, is what I would say, right? You got to be strong with the ball, you got to be physical, you have to run good offense. Everyone has to be connected, because going down there in the paint against the best defenses in college basketball is just, it's a battle. This UCF team is way too open. I would say it's almost like good defensive teams are 5 o'clock traffic. All right? It's backed up, it's clogged, it's not easy to get anywhere. The Knights defense a lot of times is, you know, it's like if you ever went to the movies and got out of the movie at 11:15 and you're like, this road is never like this. I've never seen it this open.
It's going to be 1:21 for you to DFW Airport after the game, hopefully.
Oh, man.
On a Saturday afternoon.
No question. A quick flight out.
A let downhill. Setting up Trey White. And pulled in by Keyshawn Hall. Hall still hasn't hit a shot from the floor. He's 0 for 7. Blocked by Diallo, his 4th block of the game.
Tremendous timing from the freshman.
Outlet short. Loose ball picked up by Micah Robinson. Trey White fouled on the three-point attempt.
And what looks like an easy Keyshawn Hall finish at the rim, Malik Diallo just comes over, times it up perfectly. Leads the leading scorer in the Big 12 up top. And that's been the day for Keyshawn Hall. Opportunities that he usually gets at the rim. You tell that this Jamie Dixon's team was very engaged in their scouting report, in their discussions of how they wanted to defend Keyshawn Hall, the emphasis they placed on him. They've executed the game plan to perfection. Against good scores, you want to give up nothing easy, nothing cheap, right? And they haven't allowed that. If he makes tough shots, if he makes a couple fadeaways, you got to live with those, right? But the stuff at the rim, the easy spot up threes, they have not allowed any of those today.
Very different story from the game 5 weeks ago in Orlando, when Hall had 26, got to the line consistently, opened the game with a three-point barrage, and it's been a nightmare of a day so far today for Hall as Ivy Curry launches the air ball. Trey White. Uday the offensive board, and he's fouled.
Ernest Uday brought his lunch pail, brought his hard hat. Blue collar guy has just been working down there underneath the rim. His 8th rebound of the game, already has 11 points. Well on his way to a double-double. And I know the viewers at the home probably can't see it as well, but when the shot goes up, that's when his party starts, because he starts getting active. He starts positioning himself to get offensive rebound, and he starts working the defender that's in front of him so that he can go get the ball. He's been very active today.
Yeah, 5 offensive rebounds, BJ, and it hasn't been the Ernest Uday that you've seen game to game.
Yeah.
In some of TCU's biggest wins against Baylor, against Texas Tech, when they were 9th in the country, Uday has stepped forward with double-doubles, and that version of Uday has come to play today.
Exactly. He's been locked in. He's been consistent. He's another guy that on the road doesn't seem to perform as well. Foul trouble at times, but I mean, look at him right there. He's over in the fans. He's over in, you know, hanging out with the fans, making plays on the baseline. It could be the Mustafa Cham matchup, right? And he's just been excited to go against the freshman. He's a junior. He wants to show that he's the vet out on the floor. Whatever the reason, he's been very locked in.
Mahovsky. Oh, around Robinson. Nice take by Niels Mahovsky.
He's been good since he's checked in.
That came in late in the first half and has given UCF a bit of a spark.
7 points in 7 minutes. Knocked down a triple from outside. He's a player that has ability offensively. It's this end of the floor where he's often a bit of a liability. I'd like to see TCU look to take advantage of that, especially since he's defending Sean Allett.
It's like they heard you. Allett trying to get around him. Oh, Uday was in too deep, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, just made that pass a little too late. If he lets it go a tick sooner, probably has Uday.
Alan Coleman offline. Got his own miss. And Coleman goes glass. Debo Coleman, his 4th straight game off the bench, starter for most of the year, a transfer from Georgia Tech. And Jamie Dixon calls a timeout here as UCF has cut it back to Tillinardi, and for good reason.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to hold. All right, for a while there, it looked like 3 SEC teams plus Duke may be on the one line, but now Houston well on its way to its 2nd regular season Big 12 title in its first 2 seasons in the Big 12. Barring a major upset early in the Big 12 tournament, they'll most likely hold as a 1 seed in the Big Dance.
Yeah, right now, Lenardi has 8 teams in, so half of the new look Big 12 in, 8 of the 16. And all 8 look pretty solid. Yeah. And about Iowa State, which has dropped with those few losses as of late. Again, Curtis Jones hurt, Keyshawn Gilbert hurt. Gilbert could be back tonight against Arizona. That's a team you certainly don't want to see here coming up in a couple of weeks on your side of the bracket.
Absolutely not, because if you look at the resume, it's not telling a full story of who they've been, right? You see their losses, but they had key injuries in those losses, so you catch Iowa State in the Big Dance early on, if you're one of those 1 seeds or 2 seeds, you're gonna be in for a long day against TJ Otzelberger's group.
Another timeout called after the David Punch turnover. Texas Tech beating Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. They got Chance McMillan and Darian Williams back, now 13-5. TCU, where they are at 8-9. They are trying to secure a top 8 seed, which would mean a 1st-round bye in the Big 12 tournament.
Which is crucial, right? It's one less game you got to play. Darius Johnson, rocket to the rim right there. But that's absolutely crucial, right? In the Big 12 tournament, not having to play a game the day before and being able to be 1 step away from going into what will be a semifinal matchup is huge.
Allett missed the floater, but another offensive rebound for the Frogs. That has been a theme all game. TCU has bullied UCF on the glass.
13th O board of the day. They moved Knights out of the way to go get the basketball. Just moved him.
Chom secures that miss. Johnson trying to turn the corner. Ball's pass knocked out of bounds. It'll stick with UCF, 10 to shoot.
So that possession really never got off the ground, right? From the beginning, it was just stagnant, looking around, where are we going, right? Got to be a little more assertive offensively.
Chom missed the three. Hall with the putback and the foul. Keyshawn Hall's first make from the field. He started 0 for 8.
Who would have thought his first field goal would come in the fourth quarter? I mean, right here.
Basically, yeah.
Basically in the fourth quarter, he gets this offensive board, fights his way back in, and don't look now. For as well as TCU has played in this ball game, with a made free throw, the Knights would cut this game to a 10-point bout. There you go.
And there it is. After trailing by 23 late in the first half, UCF clawing its way to within 10. TCU has missed their last 6 from the floor. They haven't scored in over 3 minutes.
Got to use Ernest Uday as a screener. Good job.
Reynolds can't cash in, but another offensive rebound, this time from David Punch.
Got a mismatch inside. Uday being defended by Johnson.
Go right to him, giving it up though.
Oh my God.
Boy, that frustrates you as a point guard, right?
Absolutely. You got to take advantage of the mismatch. See, now Chum has got back to him, got back to his matchup.
Punch hits a tough shot at the end of the shot clock. Worked out, but it could have been a little easier, right?
Yes, 100%.
All fouled on the drive before the shot.
We call that playing harder, not smarter. It worked out. Got to feed the big fella, especially as well as he's played today. He was also quick to get up off it. As soon as he received it, I'm not sure if he knew that he had the opportunity to just go up and over the top.
Always in attack mode, but defended well by Punch.
And see, Punch is a good matchup because they're almost built the same. Right? If you look at the two guys, very similar frames, both 6'7", both weigh about 225 pounds, right? Same strength. He's a good matchup for Hall.
Posey missed everything. And last touched by UCF. Shot clock doesn't reset. 11 on the timer for TCU. Boy, they've made everything tough. You're right on Hall, who's now 1 for 10. The Big 12's leading scorer, just 7 points in the game.
Yeah, everything is challenged, especially with that left hand. Hasn't been able to stretch the defense at all. Only 1 3-point attempt on the day. He's a guy who usually gets up around 4 or 5 a game. So once again, give all the credit in the world to this team for being locked in on the scouting report as well as playing with energy and effort.
Alette hits. Alette had a big first half. Those are his first points here in the second half. The 8-minute mark. He's got 13.
And this is a guy with a lot of ability, right? I mean, he's shown that he can score. He's shown that he can set up his teammates. His thing is they're going to travel against Hall. And Rashawn Alette's thing is the mental. He's got to be locked in and engaged and has got to view himself as a leader of the group. Can't get in his own head sometimes.
Well, just as UCF had sliced the deficit to 10, TCU, a couple of buckets, 14-point advantage.
And this is what we're talking about right here. Get to a nice spot, a little step back action. I like it for Rashawn Alette. TCU rolling. From the backcourt, we look at Rashawn Alette. A little early for the triple-double alert, but he's on his way, 13, 6, and 7. Ernest Uday has outplayed Mustafa Chum inside, which has been crucial to this game. And then in the second half, David Punch has been punching the paint, right? We've seen him get into that little mid-range area, that 12 to 15-foot area, get to some nice spots and finish, as well as we've got to highlight his one-on-one defense against Keyshawn Hall. That's been equally as important.
Holding Hall to 1 of 10 shooting, just 7 points for the Big 12's top scorer. Offensive foul as Reynolds got freed up. Goes against Punch.
Yeah, one of those moving screens where, you know, it's like a dribble handoff guy as he gets set. Personally, I don't like the call. I like to see them let that go and keep the game moving, right? If it's not a blatant moving screen, I don't like it.
Johnson. And Robinson vacuums in the rebound for TCU. Frogs are 10-1 this year when they out-rebound their opponent. Robinson's fouled by Darius Johnson, and right now TCU plus 10 on the glass, including 15 offensive rebounds.
Yes. And the thing with out-rebounding your opponent, that stat is tied in directly to how many missed shots you force, right? So it's hard to out-rebound your opponent. They shoot 60% from the field, right? There's not that many opportunities to get the ball. They've held UCF to 38% from the field today. That's why they've had so many opportunities to get on the glass.
Diallo picks up the foul here. That's a second. Boy, Diallo with 4 block shots. He had a total of 11 blocks on the season coming in, and 4 in this game. And a foul here sends Chom to the line. UCF's highest ranked recruit ever. We'll have one more after hitting the front end of the 1-and-1. He was ranked 30th in the ESPN 100 after he reclassified.
Yes.
Last year, his junior year of high school, he reclassifies, joins the class of 2024, and now he's a college player.
Yeah, this is a guy who, if he hadn't reclassified, I mean, he's potentially would have been looking at being a one-and-done sort of guy. But the way he's developed shooting from the outside, he's become a mid-30s three-point shooter. Still can protect the rim, and look at his frame and his build. That's what the NBA wants these days, right? They want lanky guys, they want stretch guys. You know, they don't need big and slow plotters. That's not what Mustafa Cham is. He is a movable, versatile big at the center position.
Perfect for the modern game.
Exactly.
Playing the shot clock. Robinson cans a 3. Now, speaking of freshmen that were in the ESPN 100 a year ago, Robinson was a top 70 player in the country. John misses. Robinson on the attack. Scoops it in with a foul. Another Frog with a bright future. Micah Robinson heading to the line for one more.
This is how you come in the game and make the most of your minutes, right? Knock down a triple, then go downhill, get straight to the cup, to the Baja, over the outstretched arms of Mustafa Cham. 11 points in 10 minutes. Ted, I mean, the way he's playing, the way he's been aggressive on these last 2 possessions, you would have thought he was the leading scorer on the team. No fear.
It's got to feel good, BJ, for Robinson, who's hit a cold spell. This happens for freshmen. He totaled 4 points in the last 4 games.
Yes.
He was 1 of 15 shooting in that span, and a big game here today. Johnson all the way to the cup, counted and 1. And boy, Jamie Dixon's right in front of us, put his hands over his face. Like, can you believe this? What are we doing? No resistance there.
In disbelief. Says, guys, we got to be ready when they push the ball back down the floor. I don't think he liked how long they celebrated right there. A little too much.
There is no switch to off
Not
for Jamie Dixon.
No.
You
Going back
don't
to his
win.
Pittsburgh days, it's never been that way.
You don't win 500+ games in your career if you do it that way. Timeout.
Right, you know, a lot of football fans feel like there's a letdown, you know, after the CFP and then the Super Bowl in mid-February. But if you're a basketball fan, this is when you really start to get that uptick. This is when you really start to have a little bit of fun.
And you still have that belief heading into your conference tournament as Jace Posey carves his way to the rim. TCU not giving up hope. We mentioned it off the top. Jamie Dixon selling it to his team as Keyshawn Hall with just his 2nd bucket from the floor today. Dixon saying, we're still on the bubble. We are still alive. We still have so much to play for. Aulette turns it over. And we get a look at Jace Posey just a moment ago.
This is a great job right here. Likes his matchup. Nice tween. turns on the Jets, and then the finish. There we go. Making his pops proud. James Posey rocking the 41 just like his dad.
Johnson to the rack. You know, you look at TCU's conference record, BJ.
Yeah.
If they hold on here, they get to 500. You go 500 in the Big 12, as good as it is, even this year in a so-called down year.
Yeah.
Posey still gets it to go against Chum. You would think, oh, that's absolutely NCAA tournament worthy. The problem for TCU is that the non-conference schedule just wasn't there, and losses to Santa Clara and Colorado State certainly didn't help.
Exactly. Those bad losses are what will really catch up to you in March. Right? They've had opportunities to get big wins, and they've picked up a couple, like their win at Texas Tech. What a deep triple right there. Martin Curry, jeez. Shot that from Houston. But you're absolutely right. If you're TCU, the bad losses are what will catch up to you this time of year.
Juice Ivy Curry had been battling an undisclosed injury over the last week or so. Played only 9 minutes in the win over K-State on Wednesday. He's played a little bit more here today. Let feeds Robinson. The hit ahead to Hall. Missed the layup. Hall wanted a foul.
It's been just that kind of day for him.
I'll let the lob. Posey crams it down. Jace Posey can get up just like Dad. And Johnson fouled at the other end. Olet picked up the foul.
Jace Posey imposing his will on this basketball game. Ball fake, the maneuver to get it over the 7-2 shot blocker. What a finish. And then right here, I'm gonna go up high and throw it down hard. Got it started. Ernest Uday's been there all game, but then you're right, Jace Posey as well as Micah Robinson have kind of closed this thing out down the stretch with their play. So a team effort offensively for TCU has really propelled them this afternoon.
Yeah, one of their better offensive performances of the season. Johnson at the line for UCF out of the timeout. And 3 of those 5 in double digits for TCU, freshmen.
Yep.
Posey, Robinson, Punch. TCU is one of only 2 power conference teams to play at least 5 freshmen consistently. Johnson off the steal, fouled by Reynolds. That'll help whatever comeback UCF has left in them.
And the number 1 key in this situation is take care of the basketball. You don't want live ball turnovers. Noah Reynolds, you never start lifting that ball up over your head like that in the backcourt. It's a weak position to have, right? You want to be down. You want to be looking around a defender, trying to split between the trap, right? And an aggressive athletic position. You never want to go into that, almost that hands-up surrender. Noah Reynolds knows better.
Johnson, a very good free throw shooter, right back at the line, 81% on the season. And Johnson brings Johnny Dawkins' team to within 11. Now, TCU's biggest lead, 23. That was late in the first half. And TCU's going to have to deal with pressure.
The one thing is, if you can break the trap, there are opportunities to score on the back end, because most likely you have numbers. No need to rush if you're TCU.
Olet to Uday for the stuff. Vashawn Olet with X-ray vision. He's got 9 dimes. Hall, contact, blocked by Uday, and Hall converts with a foul.
And right here again, break that trap. Said there's no need to rush, but when you can get this at the cup, you gotta take it when you can get it. Great job of finding Uday at the rim. And then right here, it's a good job initially. It's gonna be the second one where they get the foul call on Ernest Uday. Only his first foul of the game, so no foul trouble for him. Very important.
Hall splashing in the free throw. And it's a 10-point game. Certainly not over.
Oh. That was a foul.
Wow, okay.
That was a quick one. Let's see if we can take another look at that.
I mean, even Johnny Dawkins has the quizzical look on his face, BJ, and for good reason.
Wasn't much there.
Shooting 1-1.
TCU in the bonus. One more look here.
See, it goes with an initial two-hand touch. The rule is if you touch any live ball player with two hands, it's a foul.
Right.
Now, do we see that happen at times and it doesn't get called? We see that all the time. But by the book, that's a foul.
Yeah, almost the deliberate motion that you would see in the final minute of a game
100%.
when you're doing it intentionally.
Right.
I mean, there's very little contact there.
If he touches with one hand, they don't call the foul. But it's the two-hand touch.
TCU got the rebound after the miss. And another foul against Ivy Curry. His third. So back to the line for 1-1.
I mean, if you're TCU, the key is knocking down your free throws down the stretch, right? They need to put all of these in the hole because the stoppages do work in UCF's favor, right? You got to make them pay from the free throw line if you're TCU.
I love Jace Posey's Instagram handle, @SupremePosey.
There we go.
Good adjective. Even if he missed the front end of the 1-1. Johnson with the scoop, and UCF is within single digits. Oh, dangerous pass, and it's a turnover. Hall missed the layup. Allette to the open floor. The no look. Uday blew it at the rim, but a foul. It's on Chom. That's his second.
Rashawn Allette with the drop off here to Ernest Uday. It looked like he could have finished, but you see Mustafa Chom just get that hand in there on the basketball now. TCU's playing fast. If you're gonna play fast, up 9, under 3 minutes to go, you got to convert, all right? Or else you want to use some of the shot clock because the clock is your friend, right? See, going to the free throw line and shooting early because you think you have numbers is not the thing to do. And this looks pretty good right here if you watch Mustafa Chom get his hand on this basketball right now. We can't see where that right hand is on Ernest Uday, but right there we see a lot of orange that he gets.
Not much there. Yeah. Did he contact the hand on the other side?
Yeah. Well, nevertheless, Ernest Uday missed the first one.
That's right. Just a 62% foul shooter, made the second. TCU, one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the nation. 65% coming in. Although, BJ, they have been better over the last few games. They're 14th worst in the country at 65%. And today, 11 of 18. Johnson just threw it up. Hall, no. Loose ball. Posey hits the floor. And timeout granted for TCU. Man, Jace Posey with a day to remember, making his first career start, scoring in double figures, and now a hustle play.
That's how you get on the ground for a loose ball right there, right? That ball is loose, you don't know who's coming up with it. First to the floor, get down there, get dirty. And a nice heady play by the freshman to call a timeout. Very smart.
Get Jace Posey some headgear for the Big 12 Wrestling Championship coming up March 8th and 9th next weekend in Tulsa. You can check out the semifinals on ESPN Plus, all the action through the semis on ESPN Plus. Then the championship finals on Sunday, 9 Eastern on ESPNU. My buddy Mike Cousins will be in Tulsa for that, I believe, with Rock Harrison. Man, Big 12 wrestling not to be missed. So TCU up 10, 2:27 to go. And yeah, a lot of smiles here at Schollmeyer Arena. Frogs coming off back-to-back losses to Cincinnati and West Virginia after they had climbed onto the bubble, really, this time last week. Had won 3 in a row. Bashan Aulette, boy, you called for it earlier. Hey, maybe triple-double watch. Time might run out, but Aulette with the all-around game today.
Yeah, I mean, he's really just steadied the ship. He's been the guy they needed in the backcourt, right? They don't really have a secondary ball handler outside of him, so he's been fantastic.
Robinson missed the layup. Uday got it back.
If you're TCU, once again, there's no need to rush this. Take your time.
And into the hands of Aulette, always a good decision. And a foul on Mikey Williams.
This is where the point guard stuff comes into play, right? You know, Bashan Aulette he's making do this year as a point guard, right? That's not his natural position, so, you know, his mindset is think attack, 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 which is great. But the point is to win the game, right? Use up that shot clock. Make sure, hey guys, we need 4 back on defense on the shot. Only one going to the rim is Ernest, right? Everybody else get back in transition defense. Let's play without fouling. Those are the conversations that a point guard is having out there on the floor, because you're not just playing the game, you're thinking the game.
And you're right, Aulette, he was a super scorer at Old Dominion last year before he was dismissed from the team. Joins TCU. Jamie Dixon says he's been nothing but a positive presence here. But when Frankie Collins went down, Dixon told Aulette, one-on-one conversation, I need to see more point guard plays out of you. I know you're capable. I know it's not your natural position, but it's what we need.
And he's shown the ability to pass, right, and facilitate, but that's only one part of being a good point guard. The other part is controlling the tempo and thinking for the team.
Punch, and Johnson wrestling for it. Now Chom trying to separate. Uday steps in. The arrow points TCU's way.
That's the most ridiculous part of basketball, when the play is over and 2 guys are holding the ball and they start wrestling for who's going to have the basketball last. Like, go look at the arrow. Like, why are we fighting for a ball that's already plays dead?
Remember the viral moment with Hunter Dickinson here at TCU several weeks ago? He just wouldn't let go.
You know, I never felt like anybody got the edge on my team because they had the basketball after the play was dead. Especially if you're the winning team.
Right.
Your TCU, just let go. You can have it, you know. Not much is gone for you today, so there you go, have the basketball.
Yes. Trey White got shaken up here as Aulette was fouled.
Yeah, Darius Johnson comes over with that body. Darius Johnson's a strong, 210-pound guard. Doesn't feel good.
Now he's acting it out for his team. Yeah, exactly what happened.
The play is under review for a possible flagrant 1 foul.
Okay. You heard from Kelly Self, the lead official. So a review with 1:52 to go. You think there's anything worth looking at there? Anything that is deserving of a flagrant?
Not that I saw, but on the initial. I mean, you're going to see Darius Johnson come over here and getting into this trap, but that elbow makes contact in that neck and head area. Yeah, they're probably going to get him for a flagrant if you ask me. Because whenever you make contact with a forearm or an elbow up in the armpit, it gets him in the arm. It all depends on whether or not this is the head or neck, all right?
Yeah, but is it really excessive in nature?
Exactly, I agree with you on that, and I've seen calls this year that were not excessive plays, but they were made up top,
right?
And they called the flagrant. You've seen them too, and you've gone, well, it wasn't that much, and it wasn't even intentional, right? But if they deem that he caught him in the neck, they'll get him for the flagrant. Now, this brings in a bigger discussion about the under 2-minute reviews, and we review everything under 2 minutes. okay? We go 38 minutes of basketball, and we just, go up and down. Then everything under 2 minutes gets looked at.
You have excellent officials who trust their judgment,
and we trust
in real
their judgment,
time,
and we trust their judgment in real time.
And you understand the spirit of wanting to get things right. And listen, especially when it comes to any contact in the head or neck area. But man, in the moment, and even with the benefit of replay, it certainly didn't look like that there was anything there.
Yeah, college basketball needs to adopt the NBA model where each coach gets a challenge. If you get the challenge right, you keep your challenge. If you don't, you lose your challenge.
Kelly Self, Antonio Petty, DeSalle Dean, the crew today. Here's the call.
After review, the play on the floor stands as is.
There we go.
So no flagrant foul on Darius Johnson, and that's the right call.
I agree. It was not.
At Trey White, he might think it's different.
Yes, but it was not.
Come on, man.
It was not what we visually consider to be a flagrant foul, right? The only thing you get into is the technicalities of what's a flagrant foul. That's it.
But Aulette is at the line because there was the foul at the other end of the floor as Aulette hits the first. Man, what a game Vashawn Aulette has put together. The native of Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. He can shoot TCU into or out of a game, but he is their best creator. And we've seen the good version of Vashawn Aulette today. Ivy Curry, no. And Posey with the long rebound. And a foul. And so Johnson picks up the foul, his second, and more free throws for the Frogs. Posey with 10 points and 5 rebounds.
And we got to highlight TCU with a chance to break 90 here. Again, we've highlighted a multitude of times throughout this game their inefficiencies when it comes to scoring the basketball. Well, for the first day of March, and this to be their first game before trying to make a stretch run here, this was a good start for the TCU Horned Frogs.
Hall missed the layup. Uday the rebound. Get a number that would be unthinkable. Most Frogs fans watching this team all year through the Big 12 even get close to 90. And Punch is fouled with 1:19 to go.
Yeah, because 90, that's not what they need to get to game in and game out, right? But if they can bottle up a consistent 75 to 80 with the way they play defense, right?
Yes.
They have a chance to knock off some of the teams like they did when they beat a Texas Tech, right? That was a 69-66 ball game, right? They don't need to go up 90, 95. They don't need to be Kentucky or Alabama, one of these high-fly, high-scoring teams, but they just need to get consistent offense. They cannot have 2 for 16 from 3, 3 for 20 from 3, right? They can't have those games here in March if they want to make a push towards the tournament.
Again, at the bottom of the Big 12 in most offensive categories, but a different story here today against, granted, the worst defensive team in the Big 12 in UCF. But it comes at a great time for TCU after the losses they endured on the road the last 2 games. And the balance, too, that it's not just one player or 2 players. With 5 in double figures, TCU, Darius Johnson banks it in, plus the foul. That just makes them that much more dangerous as they try to make that final push here in March.
Yeah, you know, if they can get Jace Posey and Micah Robinson, those two freshmen, to be those role player scorers, to be the X factor in a game, right? Maybe you don't get both of them in double digits, but they're going to need one of those two to have good games, right? Night in and night out. They both can't be bad because they don't have a guy. Noah Reynolds is not going to go for 25. Rashawn Allet's not a 25-a-game guy. And we know Ernest Uday, even though he's in double figures today, he's not known as a stud. I can tell you, nobody wants to win more than that guy. And there's no better leader of young men, honestly, than that guy.
And Keyshawn Hall went on social media to defend Dawkins last week. Said this year is not on coach, it's on us as players. It hurts me to see him getting bashed. And you gotta love Dawkins' response. He says, hey, I don't need any of my players to fight my battles for me, even though he really appreciated it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, you know, today's college landscape is, and we're seeing it across the sport, right? We just saw with North Carolina and what they've had to do with Hubert Davis and bringing in the GM, Jim Tanner. They're going to put together some sort of pseudo front office, right? You know, these college athletic programs in football and basketball both are going to have to start operating a lot more like pro teams. You can't just rely on the coaches to, well, coach the team, recruit the players, hit the portal, you know, talk to a guy about what his NIL compensation is going to be. That you're asking way too much, you know, from one person. What I'm saying is administrations and teams that are going to be successful in those sports are going to put infrastructures around the coaches now so that they can be successful.
You're going to have to expand that staff, there's no doubt. And many teams are already doing that. We hit the final minute. Man, Keyshawn Hall held to 12 points on 3 of 17 shooting. In the Big 12's leading scorer, 19 a game. Better than 21 in conference games. Posey could not collect it. And out of bounds to UCF.
First bad play he's made all day. First time it hasn't worked out for Jace Posey. I mean, you see it. Look how long his arms are. I mean, he has arms that stretch down to almost his kneecaps. Only about 6'5", but he got at least 6'10", 6'11" arms on him. If he can become a little bit better ball handler, right, he'll have potential to be a really effective player in the Big 12 down the line.
Williams missed the 3. Chom the offensive rebound. Johnson hoists again. And a foul with 14 seconds. It's on Posey. Now TCU will have their final home game on Tuesday night here on ESPN Plus against Baylor. Their senior night. TCU will be going for the season sweep after they pulled off a dramatic win in Waco. If TCU is able to win out here, and it's very possible against a Baylor team that has been slumping here.
No question.
They finish up at Colorado, which has certainly struggled all year. TCU could finish above 500 in the league.
Yep, and if I told you before the season started that a team that finished above 500 in the Big 12 would miss the NCAA tournament, you would say, well, they must have been really, really bad in the non-conference. And that's part of the story with TCU, but they still have a chance at the end of the day.
Today was about release for the Frogs after back-to-back losses, back in the win column, and back to 500 in Big 12 play. As TCU uses a high-octane attack. When have you heard that this year? To beat UCF 89-78.
The first step to TCU working their way back onto the bubble. Had to start today. Terrific offensive output. They got to bottle this up and carry this through the rest of March.
TCU wins it with 5 players in double figures, led by Rashawn Allet, 17 points. He also had 9 assists and 7 rebounds. That'll do it from here in Fort Worth. Thanks so much for joining us. For BJ Taylor and our outstanding crew, Ted Emmerich saying so long. TCU back to 500 in Big 12 play with the win over